In Europe, stocks traded lower in early trade amid concerns that U.S.-China trade talks are stalling. Well, let's see how that and more are playing out on the European space. Let's bring in Chelsea now. Hello, Chelsea. Good afternoon. Well, more details on the trade negotiations between the U.S. and China are emerging, and it looks like the two countries are back at an impasse over whether the U.S. will remove tariffs on Chinese goods. Could these negotiations fall apart?
I think you always have to keep that risk at the top of mind. These trade negotiations between China and the U.S. have fallen apart. In May, they reached a similar disagreement over tariffs, and were not able to really work it out. And that's why we're back where we started. I think the U.S. and China do want to reach a trade agreement. President Trump yesterday reiterated how important this is to reach a deal soon. Both countries are under an increasing amount of pressure as their economies slow. We've really started to see how much damage this is doing to companies and to broader economic measures in both countries. But they do seem to be at a sticking point here over these tariffs. According to the reports, China really is demanding that the U.S. take tariffs off, and the U.S. is not necessarily saying that's not on the table, but they want to impose certain conditions on the removal of that. It doesn't appear that they've really made much ground on these bigger issues that are expected to at some point be a part of these discussions as well. So things like technology transfers and intellectual property protection. So I think the fact that there is still a long way to go for these negotiations is really hitting the market today.
Anyway, in all the news, President Donald Trump, in a speech on Tuesday, criticized the Federal Reserve for not deploying negative interest rate policies like those of the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan. So what are traders in Frankfurt saying about these comments, given recent backlash to the ECB's use of negative rates?
I think these comments are definitely a bit of a surprise. He has spoken about this before. Trump has he's mentioned that the U.S. should be cutting rates lower in the past, but it is a very ironic time to be making these comments because it comes at really an unprecedented amount of backlash and sort of consternation over the ECB's negative interest rate policies. One of the big criticisms of all negative interest rate policies is that it's really difficult for savers to earn any sort of interest on the money they save. And it also is really damaging for the financial sector and banks who can't make money off of lending. So I think there's definitely some skepticism about that. But I think in the past, when Trump has made comments sort of pushing the Fed to lower rates or to go even into negative territory, the response from within the Fed has been that this isn't really something they want to do. There are other methods that are less harmful for the overall economy than negative rates. So I think it's a lot of talk, and it creates a lot of headlines, but it doesn't seem like it's really a realistic policy proposal for the Fed at this point.
All right, Chelsea, let's leave Trump alone. American electric car maker Tesla says it will build its next factory outside of Berlin. Just wondering, why does the company want to be in Germany?
I think there are two big reasons why Tesla is choosing Germany. One of those is that Germany obviously has a storied, very long history with making cars and a lot of experience in advanced manufacturing and engineering. So I think Elon Musk is hoping to tap into Germany's sort of expertise in this area with really complicated electric vehicles and manufacturing and things like that. I think they're also he's probably looking at the fact that Germany is supposed to be one of the largest electric vehicle markets over the next decade. So as the European market changes and as emission standards change in Europe to allow for less pollution from vehicles, there's supposed to be a very large growth here in Europe for electric vehicles. So I think this is part of a global strategy for the electric vehicle going forward.
Thank you, Chelsea. Enjoy the rest of the day.